Hare Krishna. So today we are with His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, and we are going to ask him some questions which are misconceptions from all of us. So let's go ahead. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So there are many misconceptions about Bhagavad Gita, which we have, understood. So there are one by one questions which I'm going to ask you. So one of the devotee in one temple, he was doing book distribution, and one person told him, he was in rickshaw, and he told that, what is the proof that this Gita is written by Krishna himself? You have just written as it is, or Yatharup. But what proof do you have that this Gita is spoken by Krishna and came in disciplic succession, and it is not something which you have altered? So please, can you answer this?
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. Yeah, some people, they ask, how can you prove that Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna himself? Actually, we cannot prove it. We have faith that Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita. But to acquire any kind of knowledge in this world requires some kind of faith. You can tell a tree by its fruits. And in my experience, by following Bhagavad Gita, my life becomes very simple, happy, and sublime, as explained by Gita itself. Raja Vidya Rajaguyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Prajakshavāgamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyayam. That this Bhagavad Gita is Raja Vidya, the king of knowledge, Rajaguyam, the king of secrets, Pavitram, it's completely pure. Prajakshavāgamam dharmyam, it can be experienced by the senses. That's one very strong point for believing in Bhagavad Gita, is it can be experienced by the senses. It's not just a discussion, sitting in an armchair like this, discussing. It's actually something that we experience. So the experience of Bhagavad Gita is explained like, I can tell you that a bottle of honey contains honey that is very thick and very sweet. But it's not until you put your hand in a jar of honey and actually taste it, then you actually understand what is the honey. So this is Bhagavad Gita. If you want to really understand it, you have to read it, study it, put its principles into practice, and then Prajakshavāgamam dharmyam. You will actually experience Bhagavad Gita. And what is that experience? Susukam kartam avyayam. Sukha means happy, and su means very much. Superman! We become very, very happy, super happy, by reading, studying Bhagavad Gita, sharing Bhagavad Gita, and practicing Bhagavad Gita in our lives. And ultimately, avyayam, it's everlasting. And that we'll have to experience ourselves. That will take some time. So the proof is in the pudding. You tell the tree by its fruits. You taste the jar of honey and understand the taste. So what is that? You need to put a little faith, try it yourself, and then experience the result. Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, does that makes Bhagavad Gita a religious book or a spiritual book? Because you talked about faith. So faith is something which a religious person have. Maybe a person who just understands spirituality, for him, there may be no faith. He just wants to experience. So how can we say Bhagavad Gita, is it a religious book or a spiritual book?
It's both. It's both spiritual and religious. It's religious because it relates to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna says in Gita, he says that I am the Supreme, Param Brahma, Param Dharma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shasvato Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. I am the Supreme Original Person, Adi Devam, the first person, Vibhum, I am the greatest. So this is talking about the Supreme Person. So therefore Bhagavad Gita is a religious book. However, it's also a practical book, because Arjuna was a practical man. He was a warrior on the battlefield, and he lost his composure. He went into mental depression. He sat down on the chariot. He threw down his Gandiva bow. He said, I'm sorry, Krishna, I cannot fight. And he was totally klaibyam. He was impotent. He could not function. But then by the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna charged him up. It was a motivational discussion. It was a talk. And at the end, what happened is Arjuna got up and fight. Yeah. And he was successful. He was triumphant. So Bhagavad Gita is both these things. It's a spiritual book, it's a religious book, and it's also a practical book.
So you can say if a person who doesn't believe, he's an atheist in God, what can he derive? What are the things in his practical life will he get or achieve from Bhagavad Gita or reading, taking the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita?
The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is useful to even an atheist because it will help him develop the values in his life. Shamudamastapasocham shantir arjavam eva chagnanam vigyanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavacham. He can develop qualities like tolerance and humility and simplicity and knowledge and realized knowledge. And these are all beneficial for everyone. Actually, everyone is suffering in this material world. Whether you're an atheist or an agnostic or whatever religion you profess, everyone's suffering from birth, death, disease, and old age. So following the principles of Bhagavad Gita, we can overcome this suffering and overcome ignorance and come to the platform of knowledge. And knowledge brings happiness, truth, and satisfaction.
So many times while distributing books, we go to door. And one time I was going to a house and I approached a family and I said, take the Bhagavad Gita. And the kids, they really wanted the Bhagavad Gita. But the parents said that we eat non-veg. We cannot have this at your home. You take it and give it to the temple or you keep it somewhere. So this is something which misconception many people have, that if you're consuming non-veg, we cannot have Bhagavad Gita or any spiritual book in our house. So can you light on it?
Well, if someone is saying, no, we're eating non-veg, how we can keep Bhagavad Gita? It means they know that eating non-veg is not a good thing. So how will they overcome this bad habit of eating non-veg? If they keep Bhagavad Gita in their home, even if they don't read it, even if they just look at it, even if it's just there, it's like a deity, the power of Bhagavad Gita will permeate the atmosphere of their home and will help them overcome these bad habits. So even if you are eating non-veg or having other bad habits, it's best to keep the Bhagavad Gita with you. Otherwise, what chance do you have of overcoming these bad habits? Bhagavad Gita will help you in every situation. When I was growing up, I had Bhagavad Gita on my bookshelf as a 15-year-old. And it was Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I kept it as it is. But eventually, over time, it had effect and purified my consciousness. And here I am today.
Same happened with me.
Yeah?
My mother brought it when I was in second standard. It was just like that.
Yeah.
And I opened it when I came to my post-graduation level.
It's always good to keep in the house.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada said these books are like time bombs.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to go off and someone will pick it up and read it and have a change of heart.
True. So Maharaj, one of the question comes to many of the youth's mind is that if we read Bhagavad Gita, will we become sadhu like you? Or will we become a brahmachari or take sannyas and leave everything? Because obviously there are so many devotees all around the world, because of reading Srila Prabhupada's as it is Bhagavad Gita, they have felt so much motivated to give up their life for Krishna's service. So if I read, I am fearful that I also become a sadhu like you and I'll leave everything. So please throw some light on this.
Well, Arjuna was a family man. He was a kshatriya. He had his job. He had his family. He heard Bhagavad Gita. But Arjuna did not become a sannyasi. Arjuna did not become a brahmachari. He stayed within his realm of responsibility. So no, it's not that by reading Bhagavad Gita we'll necessarily enter into this renounced order of life. We can remain within our family, doing our duties and activities. Karmani eva dikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetubur nate sangos tva karmani. That one has a right to perform one's duties. One is not entitled to the fruits of one's activities that should be gifted to Krishna. And one should never be attached to not doing one's duty. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us to be dutiful and act in our society in a responsible manner. Very, very rare is a person going to become a sannyasi. Sa Mahatma Sadurlabha. Such a personality is very rare.
In Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna tells Arjuna to fight, fight and fight. So many devotees or many people have misconceptions in their mind that if we bring Bhagavad Gita in our house, there'll be fight in our house. Or if we start reading Bhagavad Gita, it promotes violence. Bhagavad Gita promotes violence. So, can you share something on this?
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita promotes peace, actually. Krishna says in the 5th chapter, text 29, Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gnatva shantim richati. If one understands Bhoktaram yagatapasam, I am the Supreme Lord and the recipient of all sacrifices and austerities. Sarvaloka maheshwaram, I am the Supreme Lord of all the planets and all the demigods. Suridam sarvabhutanam, I am the best friend of all living entities. Jnatvamam shantim richati. Knowing thus, one attains shanti, peace from the pangs of material miseries. So Bhagavad Gita is fought on the battlefield. It's in order to attract everyone's attention that yes, this is the message that we should all be paying attention to. But then the message is one of peace. If we see the statistics on YouTube and social media, what attracts the most hits? It's sex and violence.
Yeah.
So violence attracts attention. So Bhagavad Gita is in a violent environment, but encapsulated in that violent environment is Krishna's message of peace.
Okay, Maharaj. Now we'll play a rapid fire round. So I'll quickly give some reasons and you can quickly give some answers to that reasons. Why should we take Bhagavad Gita? Maharaj, I do not have time to read Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, you may die in 5 minutes. So you better take the time because yam yam vapi smaram bhavan jajante ante kalevaram tam tam evati kanteya sadata bhava bhavataha. Whatever we remember at the time of death, we'll attain that without fail. So take the time now, 5 minutes, read Bhagavad Gita and make your future successful.
Maharaj, why only Bhagavad Gita? There are so many motivational speakers in the world which give practical knowledge based on today, what is going on now. This Gita is so old, why do I read it?
So 5,000 years ago, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita were relevant, and 5,000 years now to the future, they're relevant today. Because Ham Atma Hai, we are the Atma, we are the spirit soul. And this never changes. The quality of the soul is the soul wants happiness and satisfaction. Do you want happiness and satisfaction?
Yes.
Yes. So the principles of Bhagavad Gita teach that, and what applied 5,000 years ago, what makes us happy and satisfied, it's the same thing today. Love.
Maharaj, everyone in my family says that Bhagavad Gita and all these spiritual books should be read in the old age. Now it's the age to do something, career, job, opportunities. Why should I go in spirituality now? There is so much of time left. I don't want to read it now.
So Bhagavad Gita will support you in your activities of job and family and all of these things, just like Arjuna was an archer on the battlefield. So Bhagavad Gita supported him. He sat down on his chariot. He gave up his fighting, gave up his career. But Bhagavad Gita inspired him, motivated him to take him up again. And how do you define old age? Old age means one who is about to die. And any of us die any minute.
Yeah.
So by that definition, we're all old. So now's the time. Take up Bhagavad Gita.
Maharaj, I have so much of studies, and in that realm of studies, I really don't have time because there is career, there is job, there is so much of pressure. So how do I read?
So we have to balance our life. Just like there was a woman, she went to a pet shop and she bought a golden cage. And every day she was polishing the cage. Inside the cage, there was a bird. She didn't see the bird. She was so old. She didn't feed the bird. After 1 week, the bird died. Her friend came and said, "What happened here?" She said, "Just see my cage." The friend said, "You fool! Don't you know inside the cage there was a bird?" So the bird represents the Atma, the soul, and the cage represents the body. So we have to balance both of the things. We have to take care of our body, we have to do our studies, and also we have to feed the bird in the cage. That's the Atma. And that's by reading Bhagavad Gita. That will feed the bird.
Amazing. That was an amazing example. Last, we are coming to Gita Janti now. This month, very soon, we have Bhagavad Gita Janti. And we are, all the people, all the devotees all over ISKCON, they distribute this Bhagavad Gita. So can you give us some inspirational message on why should we distribute this book?
So we received Krishna consciousness because we received Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada took so much endeavor to write these books, staying up all night, every night, translating his books, regardless of where he was traveling in his world. The Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, was Prabhupada's life's opus, his culmination of all of his work, his focus. So Srila Prabhupada said, you can never repay the debt to the spiritual master, but you should try. So Prabhupada said, the way you can try to repay your debt to me is whatever I have given you, you share that with others. So therefore, Hamara Kartavya, our duty is to share this message of Krishna consciousness with others through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Some people ask questions, Maharaj, as we come on the road and we come on signals and streets distributing the Bhagavad Gita. They say, you people, why are you coming on the roads? This should be distributed in the temple. Why you have to bring this beautiful, amazing spiritual books on the road? This is a very much big insult of Gita. You all are doing insult and sin. What do we reply them?
Well, it sounds like they have an issue that such a holy book is coming in front of them. So our mission is one of compassion. That just as Lord Jagannath comes out of the temple for Rath Yatra, you could say, oh, you're sinning, you're bringing Jagannath out of the temple in front of all of these dirty people. But it's because of Jagannath's compassion. He's patita pavana.
Yeah.
He's distributing the mercy to the public. So same way, in the same mood, we're bringing Bhagavad Gita out of the temple and distributing it to the people in general for their benefit. Because para upakar, this is the ultimate welfare work for society. Because everyone is suffering, as we mentioned earlier, birth, death, disease, and old age. And this is the medicine, this is the panacea that will cure all of those real problems that people have in life. Thus, we're distributing Bhagavad Gita freely, everywhere.
This Bhagavad Gita is the best-seller book in the world. And people are increasing as it is. They're taking this Bhagavad Gita as it is. So can you tell about the author who has written this and why there is a as it is?
So the author of Bhagavad Gita as it is Srila Bhai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was born in Calcutta and he grew up in a very spiritually charged family. His father, Gaur Mohan Dey, taught him to do puja, taught him to play the mridanga, taught him Bhagavad Gita, and gradually he grew up and he met his guru, his spiritual master, in 1922. When he was just a young man in his early 20s, he was a Scottish college student, Scottish Churches College. That was the name of the college he went to. And he studied chemistry and he was a family man. He had a wife, he had children. He had a Bose chemical business distributing pharmaceuticals. And all the time he was in his family life, he was always studying Bhagavad Gita and sharing Bhagavad Gita with others. He even, during his family life, he translated Bhagavad Gita from Sanskrit to English. Bhagavad Gita as it is, first edition. It was 1,000 pages long. It was stolen. But he was so determined that immediately he just started writing it again. And he came out with the second edition. At the age of 69, in 1965, Srila Prabhupada traveled across the ocean and went to America, which had been the order of his guru, to share the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in the English language. So Srila Prabhupada landed in America. He started teaching Bhagavad Gita. He started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he opened 108 mandirs before leaving this body in 1977. And when he was on his deathbed, getting ready to leave his body, his disciples were holding a microphone to his lips, and he was translating Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam up into his last breath. So such a compassionate personality who brought us these great teachings and distributed them all over the world. and fulfill the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prithivite Achayata Nagaradi Gram, Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Moranam, that the chanting of my holy names will be heard in every town, every village, all over the world. And this is why Srila Prabhupada produced Bhagavad Gita as it is. As it is means as Krishna intended it, without changing Krishna's message at all. Because so many people have come up with so many translations, hundreds of translations of Bhagavad Gita. But each of them, they divert Krishna's message and give their own interpretation. And Srila Prabhupada got very angry when he saw this. And he said, these rascals, if they want to change Krishna's message, don't call it Bhagavad Gita, let them write their own book. But Srila Prabhupada, that's why I have given Bhagavad Gita as it is. And you can tell the pudding by the eating. You can tell the tree by the fruits. And this Bhagavad Gita as it is, have produced thousands and thousands and thousands of Krishna Bhaktas all over the world. So such a powerful piece of transcendental literature, shining like the sun.
Yeah. That is really, really very inspiring, Maharaj. Thank you so much for telling this. So, as this month we have Bhagavad Gita Janti, so can you give some message on this auspicious occasion?
Yeah, Gita Janti is the day that Krishna Bhagavan, he spoke Bhagavad Gita in Kurukshetra. Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra samaveta yutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kimakorvata sanjaya. That Dhritarashtra is inquiring from Sanjay, now that the Pandavas and Kauravas have come on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that holy place, Dharmakshetra, that place of Dharma, that what did they do when they came here? So of course there was a big fight, and Krishna took the opportunity to share the message of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. That message is not just for Arjuna alone, but that message is for all of us. We can all benefit from that message of Bhagavad Gita. And the best welfare work, the best gift that we can give to the world is to assist Srila Prabhupada and his followers in distributing this wonderful message, Bhagavad Gita as it is. Srila Prabhupada said, this will be good for you, and this will be good for others also.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj. My last question is that how can Bhagavad Gita inspire all the youths in the society?
So the youth of society, it's just do it, Nike says just do it. So just do it. Just read Bhagavad Gita and you can see the results in your life, what actually happens. Susukam kartam avyayam. You become very happy, and vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya paramdrisvanavartate. That by reading Bhagavad Gita, we can give up our old habits, bad habits. It becomes easy to give them up. And we get a taste, a higher taste, paramdrisvanavartate, for Krishna consciousness, which puts us like in a bubble, in like a Vaikuntha bubble, a bubble of happiness, a bubble of satisfaction, where it's like an armor, where the world can't touch you. When you're feeling good, when you're feeling happy and satisfied, the world can't touch you. So isn't this something that we would all like to have? This beautiful feeling of happiness and satisfaction, and to understand the real deep meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What is our purpose? And how can we fulfill our goals? So this is very good reasons. Please read Bhagavad Gita, study Bhagavad Gita, and share Bhagavad Gita with others. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Now, definitely, you cleared all the misconceptions which we have. And definitely, we will be very much motivated now. And with whole strength, we are ready to distribute the Bhagavad Gita. If you have any questions related to Bhagavad Gita or distribution of Bhagavad Gita, please let us know in the comment section. You can drop a mail to us, or you can check our website. That is www.ISKCON Kirtan Ministry.com. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.